Imagine you're a teen living in a country that is run by a tyrannical government. You're trying your best to leave the godforsaken country, but the road ahead is, well, difficult. This exact scenario is the story of one of my favorite video games called Road 96. God knows how many times I've beaten it, but that music gets stuck in my head after every playthrough. My name is Hvll and I'm a video game composer. I've scored multiple indie titles and released original EDM music on indie record labels. Today, we're gonna be talking about the music in Road 96, how it's made, what genres inspired it, and of course, how you can make it yourself for your very own video game, film, or just for Spotify release. If you're familiar with the game and its story, feel free to skip to the timecode you see on the screen for the music stuff. Otherwise, buckle up. This game begins with a report on GNN, which is an obvious reference to CNN, hosted by none other than the local superstar Sonia, and within minutes we'll learn that she is a big-time bullshit. She's a host of the local Saturday Night Live, but if it were set in North Korea and run by the government. She's the main character that tells us about our progress by showing us the voting polls after every run, showing how our choices have affected the country. The game itself is randomly generated, meaning that there is no strict sequence of events, they are randomly chosen. Because of that, I'm gonna give you a rundown of the 8 main characters and their arcs. Jared. This guy is a walking terror. He's hell-bent on avenging anyone and everyone responsible, or who he thinks is responsible, for the death of Lola, his daughter.
No, all I want is revenge.
After her tragic passing at the country's border in '86, he became a literal psychopath serial killer who uses his job as a taxi driver as a cover-up. He has no political preferences, he doesn't care who's in the office, and his only motive is revenge. He wants to kill both Sonia and members of the Black Brigades, especially this guy, their leader, as he's the one who recruited his daughter into the organization. I promise it makes more sense when you actually play the game. And of course, Jared also kills random people because why not, he is a psycho. But he's actually being haunted by Stan and Mitch because they know his plan to kill Sonia and want to protect her. They're criminals dumber than I was in 3rd grade and hope to become the most famous and successful criminals in all of Petria. I mean, literally, every time you meet them, they're either trying to find out who and where Jared is or trying to pull off a robbery, but only getting away with like $40 and some change.
A laundromat robbery happened about an hour ago.
Ah, jeez.
Witnesses say the 2 robbers, both dressed like they were into S&M role-playing, argued the entire time. Though the suspect only made off with $72 in quarters, they are said to be armed and very dangerous.
Honestly, it's a miracle these guys didn't shoot themselves accidentally. Their complete opposite, however, is Alex. Alex is a teenage genius. Think Albert Einstein, but with the computer and a bunch of hacking devices. His goal in the game is relatively simple. All he wants to do is find information on his biological parents who died when he was too young to remember. And yes, you guessed it, they also died at the border in '86. But not everything is as simple as my passwords. You see, the Black Brigades found out about his quest and decided to hire him to build a bomb for them in exchange for information. Obviously, nobody in the Black Brigades is going to tell him anything. Except John. John is good. He is a truck driver who lost his index and middle fingers trying to save his girlfriend during the peak collapse at the border in '86, and I feel like I'm repeating myself. I mean, seriously, everything in this game traces back to that event in '86. After her tragic passing, he started regretting joining the Black Brigades as he believes they're not what they set out to be, though he still kinda works for them and carries their illegal radio transmitter across the country to broadcast their agenda. But oh, what's that? That, my friend, is a radio that he uses to talk to his, I don't know, girlfriend they've never met. And get this, she's a cop, another Romeo and Juliet in modern art. Her name is Fanny. She's a police officer who is often shown in contrast with the other cops that appear in your journey. She is more compassionate and willing to disobey orders if she feels that it's the right thing to do. But besides being in love with John, the illegal radio carrier, which she doesn't find out about until the end of the game, she's also the stepmother of Alex, the kid prodigy with the fancy laptop. And then there is Zoe. Depending on what the game throws at you first, there are different ways you can meet her for the first time. At first glance, she seems like another runaway kid trying to flee Petria. But the further you are into the game, the more she opens up and eventually lets you in on a secret. She is the daughter of the Minister of Oil.
I'm gonna tell you something, okay? Maybe I shouldn't, but I feel like I can trust you. My father is the Minister of Oil.
Basically, her father is a puppet. She yanked some very sensitive documents from her father about who caused the infamous peak collapse at the border in '86 and wants to flee the country to share this information with every major outlet in the world, hoping that it would finally put Tyrak, the president, out of office. The game has 3 different endings depending on your actions throughout your playthrough. It's an amazing game, and I suggest you check it out if you haven't already. But before we get into music, I just want to remind you that, well, first of all, don't forget to subscribe, okay, thank you. And secondly, all music made in this video is available on my website for download. Anyway, back to the music. The music in this game is a wild mix of acoustic songs, electronic songs, pop songs, and ambient scores. So let's make something like that ourselves, shall we? Let's start with a dreamy ambient song. With this song, my goal was to evoke the feeling of finally getting your freedom, almost like a welcome home theme. Just like in the game, we'll start with plugs playing an arpeggio and introduce a lush, big synth. For the plugs, I used 2 layers of Spire. The processing is pretty straightforward, an EQ and CLA2A to control the dynamics set to about 3 decibels of gain reduction. But what really drives it home is the delay set to ping-pong and thirds with huge reverb. And the pen has, well, just some EQ. Here is what it sounds like. Then I added a guitar solo to really set the mood, but I couldn't simply drop a guitar solo out of nowhere in such a gentle song, so I do what I call a bridge. Here is how you do that. You take the first note of your instrument, in my case the guitar, add reverb to it, render it out, reverse it, and put it right before the beginning of your instrument. This way, it kind of slides into the melody, making it sound natural. From there, I added some strings to support the melody, some strings to give the song a fuller overall sound, and a layer of sub to give it weight. Here is what it sounds like. Now how about something intense? Let's make an intense song to make you feel uneasy, like after watching a horror movie at night. This song has 16 different layers, but they all serve a purpose. The first part of the song is to really drive the tension up. I did that by using strings that play the same, very high-pitched note, a subtle orchestral hit on every beat, some bass with delay to make the song sound fuller, a few ambient layers, and a few layers of piano, but they actually play different melodies. Check it out. Here's what the first part sounds like with all the layers. The second part is also pretty interesting. I removed the bass layer and replaced it with 2 layers of orchestral percussion. And to connect the 2 parts together, I dropped everything in the bridge except for the piano and ambient layers. Here is what it sounds like. And last but not least, a pop song with guitars. I decided to make it a bit more mainstream and upbeat to give the player, or in this case you, a feeling of hope that everything is going to be fine. It's nothing complicated. First of all, there's an acoustic guitar recorded twice for the left ear and for the right ear to give a fuller sound. It's standard practice in music to record your guitar twice. Some people also record it a few more times for various effects and sometimes pen it hard. Then there's a layer of piano and a layer of strings. Here is what it sounds like. Then there is the drum beat. It's also simple, but there's a trick. You see, sometimes your kick just won't cut through the mix. The logical solution would be to simply bring up the volume, but you'd be as wrong as I was in my high school finals. By bringing the kick up in volume, you will bring up the entire frequency spectrum that your kick occupies. So what do? A click. I mean, seriously, just add a click that plays at the same time as your kick. Here is what it sounds like altogether. Anyway, I hope you learned something from this video, or at least found it entertaining. You can watch the previous episode of this series, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content about video game and film music. My name is Hvll. Stay awesome and keep making this world a better place.